Hello everybody, Radio Card Game here. Today I bring you the first archetype review of this channel, but before jumping into the cards, let me introduce you to the archetype overall. Altergeist is a spellcaster link-based archetype that comes from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns anime and made its first appearance in Circuit Break. Of course, it will receive supports in Extreme Force and in Flame of Destruction. The cards in this last booster pack, which just came out in the OCG, really improved the deck and are the reason why I've chosen this archetype in particular. What you should know too is that Altergeist is a control stun deck, since it has many traps in it and monsters have built-in interruption effects. The deck was quite slow even though it had powerful cards since Secret Break, but the supports really bring it to the next level, making it a possible name for the future competitive scene. But without further ado, let's get into it. The first monster that you can see here is Marionetta, the level 4 light Altergeist that came out in Secret Break, and we can call it the Stratus because upon normal summon it sets a trap straight from the deck. The second effect is also one of the most important of the entire archetype. Target one Altergeist card and one Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Send the first target to the grave and reborn the second target. This is an art once per turn, of course. Other than being able to send the trap cards, it can also send itself, and since the reborn clause has no position restriction, it can actually revive the link monsters. That I'll show you later. Marionetta, a straight free off. Looking at the next one, you'll be thinking that it's quite shit, the card and the deck itself, because not only it has plenty of traps, but also a level 4 monster. But believe me, this card will save you a lot of games, like Dead With Me. Came out in Circuit Break, Altergeist Conquery. When an opponent monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card and negate the attack. If this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up card on your opponent's field and negate its effect, while this card is on the field of course. So as you can see, even though it's a level 5, it can special summon itself, and what's more notable is that the second effect triggers whenever it's special summoned. It doesn't have to be by its own effect. What's good too is that it can negate face-up spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Really useful against decks that revolve around field spell, for example Trickstar. I suggest you to play this card at 1 or 2 at most. The next Altergeist isn't out yet, actually just came out in Flame of Destruction, and it's the card that really saved the deck, other than bringing it to the next level. Multifaker level 3 Dark can special summon itself if you activate a trap card, and if it's special summoned not only by its own effect, just like on Query, it can bring out an Altergeist directly from the deck, except itself of course. This card, a free off for sure, is really powerful even though you're summoning it during your opponent's turn, thanks to the next card. Sulkides, the keyring of the archetype that already came out in Circuit Break. As a quick effect, states that you can bounce another Altergeist card to bounce one your opponent controls. Even though you have to return the first one as a cost, you can still target whatever card on your opponent's side of the field, face up or set, monsters, as well as spell trap cards. Really good effect in combination with Kaijus. The second effect isn't less important. If it's sent from the field to the grave, it can recover a trap from your grave. Since the deck needs to reuse all of its cards and loves grind games, this effect is one of the best in the entire archetype. Sulkidos, in my opinion, a free off as well. The next monster from Secret Break 2 is quite gimmicky and I really like it entirely. From its level 1, material for Link Rebo and summonable by 1 for 1, to the ability of attacking directly that can trigger Melisic's first effect of sending one card from your opponent's field to the grave. Again, as for Sulkides, whatever card face up or set, monsters, spell, and trap cards. The second effect lets you to search for an Altergeist monster if Melosic is sent to the grave. A free off, probably, but is good also too. The last main monster released in Flame of Destruction is less useful, but just for now in my opinion, because if we will get more cards and more ways to special summon, it may become quite powerful. Pixel, another level 1, can reboot itself to dig into the first 3 cards of your deck and let you add one Altergeist card among them, sending the remaining to the graveyard. A monsters you wouldn't waste your normal summon for, but still a pretty good card that can eventually become worthy. And that's it for the main monsters. Now let's jump into those from the extra. They are 3 and respectively belong to Circuit Break, Extreme Force, and Flame of Destruction. Altergeist Prime Banshee is the first one and acts like a quick Lonefire Blossom for the deck, and can recover a card from the grave when it goes into it. At first, didn't look that great, of course, because in a really slow deck with plenty of traps and without any special summon potential, you couldn't summon it. But right now, with Multifaker and a couple of traps, it's not that hard to make. From my experience, every time I summon it, I won. The second one, Extia, is going to come out in Extreme Forces, and it's a Link 2, already easier to summon, and it's the best one. Other than gaining attack of the Altergeist monster it points to, it can also attribute it to negate the activation or the effect, keep in mind, of a spell trap card and destroy it. So it does negate the effect too, and it's not even a once per turn effect. Is it enough? Well, when it's the grave, you can add an Altergeist card from your deck. In my opinion, couldn't be any better. It's the first Link monster you got into, and you can actually create a pseudo chain of them, summoning one next to the other. Also attributing monsters like Sulkidus and Meloseek, you actually gain a straight +1 from your negation. The last Link monster, Kidolga, aside from its gorgeous artwork, has a very underwhelming effect. When another Altergeist monster inflicts battle damage, you get to summon a monster from your opponent's grave. But since it targets, you can't even combo it with Meloseek, sending maybe a powerful monster to the grave and summon it back to your side of the field. Its second effect is even worse, since it only triggers when destroyed by battle and just recover an Altergeist card from the grave, not needed, since the deck already has a lot of recurrence ability. Done with the monsters, let's talk about those famous trap cards deck needs so much. Altergeist Camouflage came out in Circuit Break. By equipping itself to an Altergeist monster, it prevents your opponent from attacking it, but it can still attack you directly. Pretty cool in combo with Conquery, the one that negates attack. Also, it provides immunity from effects that target the equipped monster, but when it's in the grave, this card shines the most, avoiding battle or effect destruction of your Altergeist cards by banishing it. Even though it's really good, you don't want to actually draw into it, because there are way better options, but since it's searchable, you should still play it. One is perfect. The next one is coming out in Extreme Forces, and it's probably the best one so far. Manifestation is literally a theme Call of the Undead. While in the grave, it can banish itself to recover an Altergeist trap from the grave. Since just the second effect is an hard once per turn, you can still revive more than just one monster by activating multiple of it. Best card to combo with Extia. Actually, by reviving Sulkidus with Manifestation and summoning it next to Extia, you not only get a negation, but by tributing Sulkidus you can recover the same manifestation it was reborn with. This combination of cards is the best that can let you have a control of the game state while keeping card advantage. Straight free off. Protocol is the second best trap card of the Archetype, and it's a continuous trap that came out in Circuit Break. As the first trap you want to have face up on your field prevents your opponent from negating the effect of Altergeist cards, not just monsters. Also, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can send another Altergeist card from your field to the graveyard to negate the activation and destroy that monster. This effect is the hard once per turn, but since it continues, not only lets you use this effect every turn, but can still be bounced by Sulkidus for its own effect, and then reset on your turn. The protection effect also allows you to activate Exia's effect without fear, as Manifestation, no doubt, as a free off. Let's move now into the new trap card that came out in the OCG with Flame of Destruction, Emuleth. Quite unexpected, at least for me, it can special summon itself as a monster, interesting that does not specify the position. while active prevents your opponent from targeting or destroying your other Altergeist traps. Unfortunately, doesn't say cards, but in that case maybe would have been too powerful. My opinion on its ratio is still controversial, since I can't say if it's worthy playable or good enough, so in this case, the choice is yours. The Lost Trap card is not actually an Altergeist card because it doesn't specify it in its name, but still works with it, and after Flame of Destruction, I can see why. Personal Spoofing is again a continuous trap card that can allow you to search for an Altergeist monster from your deck by shuffling an Altergeist card from your hand or field into the deck. While providing consistency, it can surprisingly become very useful during your opponent's turn by adding Conquery to your hand and preventing OTKs. Interesting enough, since the shuffling is a cost, you can still shuffle your Conquery from the field and add the same to your hand, using then again its effect to negate another attack. Just keep in mind that if you do it on the attack declaration, Conquery won't be able to activate because the attack was already declared. But probably the best part of this card is that if you activate its effect on its activation and you add Multi-Faker to your hand, Multi-Faker still triggers because you activated Personal Spoofing, just like you can still activate Astrograph effect after adding it with Weathering Eyes. At this point, I hope this video has been useful for you, Altergeist player out there, and for those who still don't know it but want to be sure what to hit first in a duel. Soon, I will upload a video showcasing the different combos this deck can do, with maybe some replays. That being said, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and see you next time.